this video, I would like to talk about science versus spirituality, with particular emphasis on what spirituality adds to our life and what would be life like without it. So to start off with, I want to quote a beautiful passage about Krishna, one of the most loved and well-known incarnations of God. So here it comes. The swarms of bumblebees, which are the passionate sidelong glances of Radharani, Krishna's eternal lover, drink the nectar of the Banduka flower of Krishna's smiling lips. And by that drinking, instead of depleting the flower of its nectar, causes the nectar to double instead. I pray that Krishna, who playfully smells the lotus flower in his hand, may decorate the little cottage of my heart. Oh, so beautiful. And it just reminded me of the beauty of all the scriptures about Krishna. They really are the height of poetry, and few people know this, because they try to describe the beauty of God, which really exceeds all words. And so, naturally, you have to use the highest ones to come close to that. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you like, subscribe to my channel. I have so many other super exciting videos on spirituality, the meaning of life, and the true self. I hope we can stay connected. All my love to you. The main reason why I couldn't stop reading these scriptures is because of the love that oozes out of each page. The love from the devotee, the lover of God, towards God, but especially from God towards the devotee. In these stories, he bends over backwards to make sure that everyone is protected. He takes plunges, he makes a fool out of himself, to make sure that everyone knows how much he loves them. And I think it's very important and helpful to have these stories available, because when we say that God's love is infinite, how many of us can really imagine what that means? Who of us has experienced infinite love? The love that we usually know of, it can change, right? It comes and goes. It often has a certain condition attached to it, maybe an expectation, a neediness, but that's not infinite love. So in these stories, infinite love is depicted in all these different ways, between the mother and the child, between the lovers, Krishna and Radharani, even a bromance between Krishna and his mates, so that everyone can see, wait a minute, there's a whole different quality to this kind of love. It's so beautiful. From most of my videos, you would know that they focus a lot on non-duality, that there is only God. But in my life, I always derived a great joy from loving God at the same time. This is why I relate so much to these beautiful stories, as well as the story of Jesus Christ. I also believe that you can't understand non-duality without this kind of love. You cannot understand the ultimate truth of I am that without also being a lover of God. They only seem contradictory on the surface, but they really are two sides of the same coin. So I thought it would be relevant to share these thoughts in a video that I was planning to make on this seeming dichotomy between the mind and the heart, science and spirituality. What would be life like without this knowing of what love really means and how it holds everything together? What truth can we find in our minds when we try to prove everything scientifically? Can we prove love or compassion? What would be life like without these things? You know, like, hang on, you shouldn't trust your feelings of love because we can't prove them scientifically. What would be life like without that? Science has its place in helping people's health and things like that. But when it comes to the zap of life, it just doesn't get there. I always suggest look at those people who follow God with all their hearts, who have given their life to that. What do they emanate? beings like Jesus or the Buddha, but also contemporary ones. You have your own ones that you follow and love. What can you see in their eyes? And compare that to those who claim that there is no God. When I look into the eyes of someone who has given their life to God, what I see is space, freedom, love for everything and everyone, and a deep, deep peace and contentment. Is that not what we all want? So why question whether it is a good or bad idea if it leads to this place? When you think of all these beautiful scriptures and the paradisical places in which they occur, and then compare that to the world we live in today and where atheism has led us to, this is another very clear answer. In these worlds where everyone loves God, there are no beggars on the street, there's no poverty, no one suffers, if so only as a playful gesture, because all the hearts are filled with the love of God. We have lost this ability today because we have believed the devil in the desert who promised us riches and power if we make him his only master. And we have done this. Our world today is based on economy, money making, and power. Faith is optional, but really don't bring it into the equation. We gotta stay real here. Where has this brought us to? Where does it bring us to doubt and scientifically undermine the existence of something deeper, more lasting, and much more beautiful than this? And it's important to say that this is not wishful thinking. From when I was a child and I listened to stories about the Bible or any story about God, I knew in my heart, this is what life is all about. No one told me this. I didn't have the complexity of mind to make up wishful thinking like that. I just knew with certainty I can place my heart here and all my trust. And it has never been disappointed or let down. Can the same thing be said about love when ego comes into play? I live in a world that's not functioning very well. There's a lot of poverty, suffering, lack of, unhappiness. But I'm not bitter or sarcastic because of my knowing of God. I know that this is the ultimate reality, the last thing that remains when everything else fails, including the passing of my body. But I'm not despaired because I know in my heart that all is well. How else could you know this? Scientifically? Certainly not, because the predictions for this earth seem dire. Politicians who talk about doom and gloom and what else to be afraid of. So why do we follow these? To be truly alive, we must drop into our hearts, spread our wings and fly. Let's do this right now. May we open our hearts to the possibility that true love exists, true meaning, and a great life. We are not doomed, but eternally safe. May we trust that truth can be found in that which cannot be seen and transcribed into numbers and dates. May we let go of fear and the feeble crutches of the mind to find true freedom and love and life. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please press like and subscribe if you like so we can stay connected.